In the heart of Buddhist philosophy lies a profound concept known as Śūnyatā, often translated as emptiness. Hi, my name is Stephen Hick, and I would like to take you into a deep understanding of this transformative concept. Śūnyatā is not about the absence of things, but rather a deep understanding of the true nature of reality. It's a concept that has the power to transform our lives, offering a path to liberation from suffering and a deeper understanding of ourselves and the world around us. Śūnyatā is a central pillar of the Buddha's teachings, crucial for grasping the essence of awakening and the alleviation of suffering. It has been explored and elaborated by many teachers, but I would like to explore it in a different way. Our exploration of emptiness is not merely an intellectual exercise, but a journey of self-discovery. It's about looking deeply into our experiences, challenging our assumptions, and awakening to a new way of seeing. This video is an invitation to join me on this journey, to dive into the mysteries of Śūnyatā, and to discover its transformative power. The concept of emptiness, while central to Buddhism, is often misunderstood. Critics often misinterpret it as nihilism, a belief in the ultimate nothingness of existence. Others see it as a paradox, a contradiction that defies logic and reason. These misinterpretations stem from a surface-level understanding of Śūnyatā, failing to grasp its nuanced and profound meaning. Emptiness in the Buddhist sense is not about the annihilation of existence, but rather a deep understanding of its interconnected and impermanent nature. It's about recognizing that things are empty of inherent existence, that they are interdependent and constantly changing. This understanding, far from being nihilistic, is a powerful antidote to suffering. It frees us from clinging to fixed ideas and opens us to the dynamic and interconnected nature of reality. To fully grasp the concept of emptiness, we must embark on a journey of exploration. Buddhist philosophy offers a multifaceted understanding of Śūnyatā, each facet illuminating a different aspect of this profound concept. In this video, we'll delve into 5 distinct meanings of emptiness, each offering a unique perspective on the nature of reality. We'll begin by exploring the historical Buddha's own teachings on emptiness, laying the foundation for our understanding. From there, we'll journey through the insights of great Buddhist masters, each offering a unique interpretation and deepening our comprehension. This journey will challenge our preconceived notions, urging us to look beyond the surface of our experiences. It's a journey that requires an open mind, a willingness to question, and a deep curiosity about the nature of existence. So if you're ready to embark on this transformative exploration, join us as we unlock the mysteries of emptiness and discover its profound implications for our lives. The historical Buddha, Siddhartha Gautama, was the first to use the term Śūnyatā in his teachings. He introduced this radical concept in the Sunya Sutta, proclaiming, "It is because it is empty of self and of what belongs to self that it is said, empty is the world." The Buddha was pointing out the illusory nature of the self, the I we so tightly cling to. He challenged the prevailing notion that we are independent, permanent entities separate from the world around us. The Buddha's teachings on emptiness were groundbreaking. He asserted that our experience of self is merely a construction of the mind, a temporary aggregation of ever-changing physical and mental processes. We tend to grasp onto this fleeting sense of self, believing it to be real and permanent, leading to a cycle of craving, aversion, and ultimately suffering. This concept of no self might seem counterintuitive at first. After all, we have a strong sense of being a continuous me experiencing life. However, the Buddha urged his followers to look deeper, beyond the surface level of our experience, to see the truth of impermanence and interconnectedness. Through mindfulness and introspection, we can begin to see how our sense of self is constantly shifting and changing, influenced by our thoughts, emotions, sensations, and experiences. To illustrate the concept of no self, the Buddha often used the analogy of a musical performance. Imagine an orchestra playing a beautiful symphony. We can break down the performance into three distinct elements: the musicians, their instruments, and the music itself. Similarly, our conscious experience consists of sense objects, sense organs, and consciousness. Just as music arises from the interaction of musicians and their instruments, our conscious experience arises from the contact between sense objects and sense organs. The key insight is this: just as there is no independent entity called music, there is no independent self existing apart from the aggregates of experience. This understanding of no self is deeply intertwined with dependent origination. All phenomena arise in dependence upon other phenomena. Nothing exists in isolation. Our experience of self is a product of countless causes and conditions. Genes, upbringing, culture, experiences all contribute to who we are. Clinging to a solid self, we miss this web of interdependence. Seeing through the illusion of self reveals our true nature. The Buddha's teachings on no self and emptiness offer a profound message of liberation. By recognizing the illusory nature of self, we can free ourselves from suffering. Letting go of a separate self, we experience interconnectedness with all things. This leads to greater compassion, empathy, and peace. The journey to realizing emptiness requires patience and diligence. It transforms our relationship to self and reveals the nature of all phenomena. As Buddhism blossomed across Asia, it attracted brilliant minds who delved deeper into the Buddha's teachings, expanding and refining them. One such luminary was Nāgārjuna, a 2nd century philosopher whose profound insights continue to shape Buddhist thought today. Nāgārjuna is revered for his masterful articulation of Śūnyatā, particularly his emphasis on the emptiness of phenomena, or objects of experience. While the Buddha masterfully deconstructed the illusion of self, Nāgārjuna took it a step further, challenging our perception of the external world as well. He argued that just as there is no independent self, there are no inherently existing objects either. Everything we perceive, from the smallest grain of sand to the vast expanse of the cosmos, is empty of an independent, self-contained essence. Nāgārjuna's philosophy centers on the principle of dependent origination, demonstrating how all phenomena arise in dependence upon a web of causes and conditions. He argued that nothing exists in isolation, independent and self-sufficient. Instead, everything is interconnected, constantly changing, and ultimately empty of any fixed inherent identity. This radical perspective might seem disorienting at first. We are so accustomed to perceiving the world as a collection of distinct, separate objects. However, Nāgārjuna invites us to look deeper, to see beyond the surface appearances, and recognize the underlying interconnectedness of all things. To illustrate Nāgārjuna's point, let's consider something as seemingly self-contained as this very video you're watching. It appears as a distinct phenomenon, an object of your awareness. But let's examine its boundaries, its supposed separation from everything else. This video consists of various elements: my voice, the script, visuals, and music. Yet even this seemingly complete picture is incomplete. This video couldn't exist without the screen you're viewing it on, the speakers projecting the sound, or the internet connection enabling its transmission. Furthermore, consider the countless people involved in making this video possible: the technicians who built your device, the engineers who laid the internet cables, the developers who created the video platform. The list goes on. Each plays a role in bringing this experience to your screen. And what about the ideas themselves? The concepts explored in this video have been shaped by centuries of philosophical inquiry, countless teachers, and the evolution of human understanding. To truly account for this video's existence, we must acknowledge the vast web of interconnected causes and conditions that stretch back through time. The point is, there's no clear boundary where this video ends and the rest of the world begins. It's not an isolated entity, but rather a temporary convergence of countless factors, a ripple in a vast interconnected pond. Nāgārjuna argued that interdependence applies to every object and phenomenon. Take, for example, an apple. We might see it as a distinct entity, but its existence depends on countless factors: the tree, the soil, the sunlight, and the rain, the bees that pollinated its blossoms. Without these, the apple wouldn't exist. Things are defined by their opposites. No up without down, no light without darkness. The world is a dynamic web of interconnected relationships. Nothing exists in isolation. It's a shift in perspective, revealing the unity that binds all things. Now, you might be thinking, if everything is empty of inherent existence, doesn't that mean nothing exists at all? This is a common misunderstanding of emptiness, often mistaken for nihilism. However, Nāgārjuna was careful to distinguish his view from this extreme. He argued that both the view that things ultimately exist independently and the view that nothing exists are extreme views, failing to capture the true nature of reality. Instead, Nāgārjuna proposed a middle way, a perspective that transcends these dualistic traps. Emptiness, properly understood, is not about the annihilation of existence, but rather a recognition of its interconnected and interdependent nature. It's about seeing through the illusion of inherent existence, the false belief in solid, independent entities. Nāgārjuna's middle way is not a philosophical compromise, but rather a radical shift in perspective. It allows us to see the world with greater clarity, recognizing the impermanence, interconnectedness, and ultimately, the empty nature of all phenomena. This understanding, far from leading to despair or nihilism, is the very foundation of liberation. By recognizing the empty nature of all things, we free ourselves from clinging to fixed ideas, from the suffering that arises from attachment and aversion. We open ourselves to a more spacious, compassionate, and ultimately liberated way of being in the world. We've explored the emptiness of self and objects, revealing the limits of ordinary perception. The Buddha shattered the illusion of a permanent self, while Nāgārjuna unveiled the interdependent nature of all phenomena. The Yogacarans argued that experience itself is the only reality, a unified field of awareness. Reality, in their view, is a dynamic and interconnected flow of awareness. The Yogacarans highlighted the interconnected nature of subject and object within experience. Let's take the simple act of seeing the color orange. Can you experience seeing orange without the color orange being present? Clearly not. The experience of seeing orange is inherently dependent on the presence of the color orange. The orange and our experience of orange arise together, codependently within the field of awareness. Just as the Yogacarans challenged the separation between object and experience, they also questioned the division between subject and experience. We tend to think of ourselves as the experiencers, the subjects who perceive and interact with a world of objects. But the Yogacarans argued that this sense of a separate self, a seer standing apart from the seen, is also an illusion. They pointed out that our experience is always in flux, a constantly changing stream of thoughts, sensations, emotions, and perceptions. There's no static, unchanging self that exists independently of this flow of experience. Instead, our sense of self is itself a product of experience, a temporary and ever-changing construct within the field of awareness. To illustrate this, consider the question: would you still be experiencing this video if you weren't experiencing it? The answer is self-evident. Your experience of this video is inherently dependent on you experiencing it. There's no separate you that exists outside of the experience itself. The Yogacarans argued that this inseparability of subject and experience applies to all aspects of our being. Our thoughts, emotions, memories, and sense of self are all ultimately aspects of experience, arising and dissolving within the ever-changing flow of awareness. There's no separate seer standing apart from the seen, but rather an interconnected dance of awareness, a unified field of experience. The Yogacarans concluded that the world we experience is a projection of the mind. Our experience of the world is shaped by our minds. Think of a dream. In a dream, we experience a world that feels real. Upon waking, we see it was a creation of our mind. Our waking experience is like a stable dream. The world we perceive is a manifestation of consciousness. Its reality is intertwined with our perception. This perspective might seem radical. The Yogacarans acknowledged our minds are conditioned by many factors. Recognizing the mind's role can free us from habitual patterns. We've journeyed through the heart of Buddhist philosophy, exploring the emptiness of self, the emptiness of objects, and the radical Yogacara proposition that reality is nothing other than experience itself. Now prepare yourself, for we're about to take an even more radical turn, delving into a concept that seems to contradict everything we've discussed so far. The Tathāgatagarbha, often translated as Buddha nature. This emptiness isn't a bleak void. It's a fertile ground from which something profound emerges. The Tathāgatagarbha, the potential for awakening inherent within all beings. Tathāgata is how the Buddha often referred to himself, encompassing the mystery of his enlightened state. Garbha translates to womb, embryo, or core. Thus, Tathāgatagarbha points to the Buddha womb, the seed of enlightenment residing within each of us. Section 2. Unmasking reality. The screen of awareness. Imagine your conscious awareness as a vast luminous screen. Thoughts, emotions, sensations, perceptions, constantly arising and dissolving. Our true nature remains untouched by the fleeting contents of our experience. The screen of awareness remains unchanged, its luminosity undimmed. At the level of pure awareness, there is no separation, no difference. It is the shared ground of being, the luminous awareness that unites us all. Section 3. The luminous ground. Qualities of Buddha nature. Buddha nature is like a radiant light, illuminating all that arises within its field. It reflects everything with perfect clarity, like a mirror, boundless and all-encompassing, like the vast expanse of the sky. Inherent within it is profound compassion for all beings. Section 4. Seeds of Enlightenment. Cultivating our true nature. The realization of Buddha nature is the birthright of all beings. It lies dormant within each of us, waiting to be awakened. Just as a seed contains the blueprint for a mighty tree, we carry the seeds of enlightenment. Through meditation, mindfulness, and ethical living, we cultivate these seeds. The journey of awakening is about realizing who we truly are. May these teachings inspire us to live in accordance with our true nature. The Paradox of Emptiness. Buddhist philosophy reveals reality as both empty and full, devoid of inherent existence yet brimming with potential. The Buddha's teachings on no self shattered the illusion of a permanent self. Nāgārjuna demonstrated how all phenomena are interconnected and empty of inherent existence. The Yogacarans proposed that reality is nothing other than experience itself. Within emptiness, we discovered a profound fullness, the seed of enlightenment within each being. Embracing the unknown. Emptiness is not a nihilistic void, but a fertile ground for infinite possibilities. Letting go of fixed ideas opens us to a spacious, compassionate way of being. This journey is a call to transformation, an invitation to embody these teachings. May we meet life's challenges with wisdom, compassion, and courage.